Hi there, this is Mike Graham of Weight Loss and Personal Development, and I wanted to talk about time and forgiveness and how it affects you and everybody really. I heard this very interesting thing today about forgiveness. I was listening to somebody called Stacey Martino, who's a relationship counsellor, with a different take on things. And she was coming up with this idea about forgiveness, which of course is necessary when you're in relationships. And it's not the old meaning, how we commonly look at forgiveness. Culturally it means that we actually feel differently towards a person than how we did before, and we stop holding on to our grudges, our dislikes. In fact, actually, forgiveness has much more to do with us than the other person, because we resolve this feeling about the other person inside, and then we stop feeling the toxic feelings that have been plaguing us for a certain length of time. Now, it doesn't excuse the person for what they may have done, and we may still see that what they did wasn't very good, but we stop dwelling on it and stop thinking that that's very, we have to continually think about how bad they were and hold that grudge, which doesn't do anything for us. It has been said that it's like drinking a poison, holding on to a grudge, that is slowly poisoning us, and it doesn't hurt the other person because we haven't given anything to them. And very often, we see them and we note that they haven't been affected by this incident at all, and there we are, suffering inside from our feelings. But actually, Stacey Martino came up with this completely different definition of forgiveness, which was something she'd heard of Oprah Winfrey a while back, and it was this. It wasn't about what is called making amends with somebody and becoming friends, or at least accepting them again, but more like forgiveness is just accepting that what has happened can't be changed. The past has happened, you can't change time, and just accepting that that is the case. Now, what you do in the future is open to, your own choices, obviously, because the future hasn't happened. And it made me think about time, because you can never change time. Whatever's happened at a particular moment in time, you can't undo except in the future. You can't go back and change it. So, just accepting that this is the case is far more useful. And that sort of resolves quite a lot of things in us if we just do that, because we're no longer at the mercy of whatever it was that happened, because it's happened. You can't change time. Now, it may not mean that we like that person anymore, but actually just realizing that it's sort of they're in a separate being, they're in a separate place, and who cares if we're not seeing them? It doesn't matter. Now, human relationships can be quite tough, and I think a lot of our lives are spent just sort of working out how to deal with other people, whether they're close to us or not. And obviously there is a range of ways that people are with other people, and some people seem to be very good at it, and others seem to be absolutely appalling at it. And that's just the way it is. It has a lot to do with our upbringing and stuff, and what we've been told, and and how we've been with other people, and how they've been back, and our choices of people. Everybody's an individual, and our lives are so individual, really, that it's hard to compare one life to another life. Which brings me to another point, actually, that if we want to move forward and have a better life, then we should actually fall in love with the lives that we've had up to this point and just treasure them, and treasure the present where we are, and just look at it from a more benevolent point of view, because this is who we are. And there's no point in trying to escape from it, because we can't, And very often, everything in our lives has happened for a reason. And we may not actually feel like that the whole time. There may be bits of our lives we'd rather not even think about because they were bad or difficult, and they don't show us up in a good life, but in a good light. But we're taught, or a lot of us are taught, sort of over a period of time, actually just accepting that this is the way our lives have been, and this is the way our lives are, and everything about it is as it's meant to be. That we are where we are meant to be, and this is, as it is, and it's as good as it gets, because we can't change the past. Obviously, the future's as yet unwritten, and we are where we are. Because in the present, we are exactly where we are. We can't change this. And it's a good thing. And we should accept that everything happens for a reason, and that this is perfect, or as good as it gets, because that's how it's meant to be. And once you grasp that, and I love this idea of falling in love with one's past, because there are, generally there are bits of one's life that stand out as having been good, and I have them like probably everybody else does, and other bits of one's life that stand out as being a bit of a horror show. But they're all part of what goes to make up you as an individual. And this is Dean Graziosi who was talking about this on an event I attended yesterday, and it made a big impression on me, that falling in love with our past and our present would be so useful and really make us grow, so that actually we just accepted things better. And from that we could work out our futures, where we wanted to go, and have better futures because of it, because this would be a more stable and pleasant launch pad. Just to fall in love with our past and our present. Nothing more than that. And really, just really treasure them. And this is an event about pivoting to something else in life, taking on a different stance, maybe, different work, different relationship, it can be anything really. Or escalating a present situation so that it sort of takes off more. I mean, I'm an online entrepreneur, and actually, there are things definitely that I find okay, but there are things that I haven't yet done that I should have done. And I consistently find myself not having done, which I should have done and make me more successful. And God knows, I'm always trying to be more successful, and providing, content is one way of trying to be more successful, because it's a very intricate thing, this online entrepreneurship, I can tell you. It's not bad. I mean, I quite like doing it, really. And it's generally sort of like a very, very detailed personal development course going through it, and I learned so much about myself and, obviously the subject itself. No, actually it's very good for me, it's actually a treat to be doing it. But, obviously not all of it is great, and obviously we try to get rid of the things we don't enjoy and concentrate on the things we do enjoy, or the things that are profitable, as opposed to the things that are just running around chasing our own tails. And developing this better relationship with ourselves can only rub off on whatever we do. If having a brilliant relationship with ourselves is really the aim. Obviously, having a great relationship with certain other people is also within our compass. But we're obviously, if we're in this game, we're trying to reach the best expression of ourselves we can be at any one time, and growth is imperative. You have to make progress. Staying static is sort of like wilting, really. It doesn't, it's a bad place to be in. Obviously, sometimes it'll appear like we're staying static for a while because things are really tough and we actually have to operate on a different level. Life intervenes quite drastically. And sometimes it feels like we're in a truck going up a really steep gradient in first gear. And, that's how it is sometimes. The growth is vertical rather than horizontal. And, it can seem like a bit of an effort. And we don't always see the progress we've made until we're out of there. But obviously, if we accept life is happening for us and it's always been happening for us, then we're here to witness the show and just be grateful for things. And planning to have different things, what we see as better things in our lives is a really good thing. And obviously just accepting that the past is the past is the past, and we don't really have to do anything else, in spite of our inclination to go and dwell there and to think that we could have done things differently. The best thing we can do, and I'm no saint in this, is just to let go and just accept that we can't really do very much and just move on and let it resolve itself like that. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today, just before we sort of try and improve our lot and try and have a better life, let's just see where we are and just accept where we are and see it as, being as it should be. We are where we are, and, the story we tell us that we have to tell is unique, and it's our journey, and nobody else has gone down the same journey as us, through the same set of circumstances, through the same lessons, through the same relationships, through the same conversations. It's all very unique, and out of that uniqueness our personal story is built. And as we get older it becomes increasingly interesting. And our relationship with ourselves is always going to be primary, isn't it? It's always going to be fascinating and of a great source of study and desire to make better, because I think it's inbuilt, isn't it, to make the best out of ourselves that we can, in any way we can. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope that's been interesting. Leave a comment please below, and subscribe to my channel, and give me a like or even a dislike if you feel this is appalling. And please don't hesitate to get yourself a copy of the free gift that is on offer, which I'll put the link to below, and hopefully catch you on another video. Thank you. Bye bye.